Hello everybody, welcome to the NRG Gaming Series MTGO Invitational. I am Matt Bimonte. I am joined by Brad Brown. Getting ready to bring you our first match is Connor Mullaly versus David Lamb. You can see the other competitors on screen there. Blair Split versus Ben Miney, Jack Cummins versus John Whetstone, and Justin Brickman versus Stanislav Golochuk. And we'll bring you those matches throughout the next several days here. But Brad and I have the privilege of watching Connor and his Temur Urza deck, Brad.
Man, this Temur Urza deck is absolutely insane. I love the inclusion of Uro in Modern right now. It is just a super powerful card. It closes so many games out on its own. And the card advantage you get from it is just absolutely nuts. I love this deck so very much.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we've seen a tons of these Urza shells. Connor deciding to go with Uro. Now, we saw some, like the Temur flavors. I think Eli Cassis and those guys had one. It was playing like, what was the 4-mana Frenzy. So they were able to play more cards as they went through it. So it was pretty interesting. And over here you see old faithful for David Lamb is Eldrazi Tron.
Yeah, I'm pretty on this deck right now. Chalice of Void I think is very good. A lot of 1-mana spells in Modern, some 0-maners that you can counter as well. Whenever Chalice is good, I think this deck in general is good. It's lost a lot recently with Karn not being able to wish for Lattice, but for the most part, still a pretty strong deck.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to serve pretty well for David. Chalice of the Void's very good against the zeros and the ones that Connor's deck is trying to use fairly often here. And you see Connor going to take a mulligan, as we're going to watch from his perspective against David. And you see Connor's on a mulligan, but this hand looks pretty good.
Now, Matt, do you know if the deck lists are open for this tournament?
They are not.
Okay, so we do see a Multa 5. And Bobble plus Urza is not the strongest, but it is something to do at least.
Yeah, I agree. This Urza deck kind of needs a ton of cards. It needs like a full hand in order to really get going, unless they have something like Emery to catch them back up on cards.
So Bobble along Emery is some card advantage. It's a little slow, but this Gilded Goose looks like he is going to keep it. Makes a lot of sense if you're going to try to ramp into Urza. And at this point, he's expecting either Tron or Eldrazi Tron.
Yeah, and you can see that David Lamb has Urza's Power Plant and Expedition Map. Basically the best start you can have. As long as David has a second different piece of Tron, he's going to be in really good shape to kick off the game here.
And here we see a Bobble going on the stack. And let's see if he's going to pop that Bobble this turn, or if he'll save it and try to use it for mana with Urza for some reason.
Yeah, pretty decent start, all things considered, for Connor. I mean, next turn he has an Urza lined up.
Oof, and David shows the second Tron piece, so we have Tron essentially on board for next turn.
Yeah, pretty good start for David, as long as he has a payoff here. But Connor does have a payoff, and he's going to be able to ramp into a turn 3 Urza Lord High Artificer you see here, which has basically become a staple of Modern for, since it was inception.
Yeah, pairs really good with Gilded Goose as well. Goose can make food, which can turn into mana for Urza, or increase the construct size.
Let's see here. So, I'm going to go ahead and crack that Expedition Map, and going to go with the missing piece, which is an Urza's Mine. And David Lamb's going to have Tron ready to roll on turn number 3, partner.
So yeah, if you're Connor, you're just probably praying you're not going to see a 7-mana Karn here.
Alright, so Connor passes back to David, and David again has 7 mana available this turn. Let's see what David's able to get going. David has 7 cards in hand, so pretty nice for him.
Yeah, that's one of the scary things when you're playing. Now we probably assume Eldrazi Tron at this point.
Yeah.
Don't see.
Yeah, pretty safe to figure that one out. Thought-Nazi you're going to hit and see a Scalding Tarn, so it's going to miss for David, but I'm sure David's pretty okay with Connor just having nothing anyway.
Nice, and there's a Warping Whale on the Urza.
Very nice. Yep, so Urza's going to be exiled. Man, that's a strong turn for David there.
This Bobble's going to give us some information. Urza's Tower. So that's 10 mana next turn.
It sure is. All right, so Galvanic Blast and Mishra's Bauble, not exactly what Connor's looking for here. Connor's under a pretty fair amount of trouble here.
So he does need to make a food before he can Galva Blast the Thought-Knot Seer to make sure that he has Metalcraft.
All right.
So it is a mana investment this turn to get this Thought-Knot off the table.
Yep. Galvanic Blast down and Engineered Explosives to play.
Not the...
Against Eldrazi Tron, it's tough for me. I probably played on 0 here, and it looks like Connor's coming to the same decision.
Yeah, I think I agree. If David just ever plays a Chalice on 0, which he's likely to do at some point over the course of this game, you don't want that card rotting in your hand. Also,
right,
if he puts it on 1 to turn off things like Galvanic Blast, now the Engineered is already in play at 0, and he can blow up that Chalice if he needs to later.
Exactly. Yeah, and the reason to play it pre-combat there is to pump up that Construct an extra point of damage. So David go down to 16, and Connor's at 13 here, so... Connor's tricks are all on the board, and David's still got 5 cards in hand here after playing that second tower.
Oh, leading on Matter Reshaper, not what you want to see from David's point of view. All right, and here we go with a Reality Smasher.
All right, so...
Do you get in there?
I probably would smash him down to 8 here, yeah. So Connor down to 8. That puts lethal on the board next turn.
Yep.
So there is a food token hanging out, so that is something worth considering, but... David's in really good shape here. And then a Chalice on 1 to follow up. Alright.
So that'll shut off all the Astrolabes.
Yeah, and there's an Expedition map actually on top of David's deck. It also shuts off Astrolabe, so combo deck David's playing apparently.
Yeah.
Not a bad pair of cards to pick up on Connor's side. There's an Archmage's Charm and Metallic Rebuke, which is going to be heavily discounted here on this board.
Yeah, we'll probably see either... Well, he's probably not going to pop the food because he can't pop the food in Charm.
Right.
So maybe the Goose is going to chump block, or he'll just take 5 and go to 3. It's a little tough.
Yeah, it's interesting. Connor could draw a couple cards with Archmage's Charm, although it's not really the best at this point. Yeah, Goose can make a food and eat this for... basically for free here. It's going to reveal an Ugin the Ineffable. Well, that's pretty bad for Connor.
So that's going to go to David's hand, and he can cast it. Notably, he can't kill the Construct, but it can start dishing out 2/2s, which will be some good card advantage.
David has so much mana. So down to 2 cards left in hand, but this Ugin just going to start making enough attackers where it's just going to be kind of, a race for Connor to find an Urza and try and build up some mana, but right now it doesn't look great.
Now remember, there is that Chalice on 1, which is why he probably tapped his red source.
Yeah.
Because any Galva Blast he draws would have been dead.
All right, well, this isn't terrible for Connor now. He's got Mystic Sanctuary rolling, going to put Archmage's Charm on top, and...
picked up that Urza. That's pretty big.
Yeah.
This Construct threatening to trade with a Reality Smasher this turn if it needs to.
Yeah.
Would put Metallic Rebuke offline, but again, David has so much mana. Maybe this Rebuke's pretty much a dead card as it is.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel great to hold it up here. Let's see what David ends up doing. Thanks again, everybody, for hanging out with us. This is our first match, again, of the NRG Series MTGO Invitational, which we're playing for charity here. Brad and I bringing you the first match. It's super different to do MTGO commentary, but not too bad so far.
Yeah, 16 competitors competing in this charity event. You saw the left-hand side of the bracket, and we'll bring you the right-hand side here in the next couple of days.
Yeah, you see David going to attack Connor's green source here with that breeding pool, and Connor going to float a green in response. Go get out. Looks like a snow-covered island. There's a forest in there as well, so I'm going to replenish that green source, which is pretty important.
Yeah, I've seen people cutting the forest, and I feel like that is just completely wrong.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know. I could go either way on it.
I like that Connor has it in, for sure.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to make that food this turn.
Yeah, looks like Connor was taking a quick read at Ugin, and well, he's able to eat. He's able to trade this construct for Reality Smasher here.
Well, this Engineered Explosives does blow up Chalice and the 2/2s, but no real great way to deal with this Ugin at the moment.
Yeah, the Ugin's a problem. Now, I mean, Urza's a haymaker.
So he will be able to spin once. Ugin is threatening to kill this Urza next turn, so I assume we're going to see a spin here.
There's the Gilded Goose into the Chalice of the Void. That might have been a small mistake.
Yeah.
From Connor there.
Yeah, a little bit of wasted mana there.
Yeah.
Here we see.
All right, he's going to spin it. Gonna spin that Urza, and there's a Polluted Delta, so that one...
He did play a land already. He played a Delta for this turn.
That's right.
Maybe thinning a little bit. A little punished, but not a big deal.
Yeah, that 1 mana is interesting to spend... because that Metallic Rebuke would have been still up.
I just don't think... Unless David drew 2 relevant spells, which we know one of them is a Expedition map. He might just have lands and 1 mana spells in his hand.
Sure. Now Cavern of Souls is going to turn that Rebuke off, so not great here. Yeah, this is pretty tough for Connor to get out of as long as Ugin keeps making tokens.
Yeah, the awkwardness here of not popping the Engineered Explosives last turn before playing the Urza, which you can do. So you play Urza with a construct on the stack. He could have popped EE, and that would have given him a construct and just 1/2/2 on David's side.
Yeah.
And then maybe if he can draw an answer for that 2/2, he could have threatened the Ugin here. I guess he would lose all his food tokens though. That would shrink the construct. So
yeah, Ugin is so good in this kind of position. I mean, it's good in general, but at 16, able to just chump block, no trample, and it's going to refill David's hand. You know, you mentioned there could be nonsense hanging out. Ugin is a good way to refill your hand with some business.
Yeah, and the beauty is you get to chump block with, you get to see what these spells are. So you get to chump block with your best spell, essentially.
Yeah, this card's very powerful. So, the Thought-Knot Seer going to come down for David, and Connor's hand really isn't good. I mean, the Rebuke is basically off because of Cavern of Souls. And he just goes in and, just going to keep doing his thing here. He's got plenty of attackers next turn. So David's going to, Connor, is going to have to start eating through these food eventually.
An awkward thing going on with Connor's mana as well. If he draws Uro, he cannot play and escape it in the same turn right now. He would need 3 green sources, and he only has 2. But
that's another reason why that forest is pretty important, I think, partner.
Yeah, well, in these Astrolabes that he potentially draws are also just off.
Yeah.
No great attacks now.
Yeah, it's tough.
Ugin's looking like it's going to take over the game.
Yeah, again, that Gilded Goose shut off by the Chalice of the Void, so Connor can't exactly get that into play here. Yeah, Ugin is a nightmare card to deal with.
Destroying the Goose, I like that a lot. With the Chalice there, you won't see another one. Oh, is this a Dismember? Oh, boy.
Feels like it is.
That's pretty good.
All right, well, he's got the Rebuke. That's nice.
Well, he can tap 1 land to pay for this Rebuke.
Yeah. That's all right. So that's gonna do it for game number 1. Looks like David Lamb picks up game number 1 here.
Yeah. So we see each player's sideboard, and it looks like we do know that Connor's gonna bring in 2 Tireless Trackers, a Rejection, and a Dismember, and he's boarding out 2 Galvanic Blasts.
Right,
and 2 Engineered Explosives.
Okay. And then, on David's side there, he's got 2 Relic of Progenitus, 2 Spatial Contortion, a Tormod's Crypt, Walking Ballista, Grafdigger's Cage. You can see all the cards down there that are just like the one-ofs for the Karn package, basically.
Right, so you won't see much boarding with the Eldrazi deck. And what David's going to do here is he's going to bring in one of those relics, because you don't really need both of them on the side. And he's going to board out a Mind Stone. So pretty easy on his side. So
just something interesting kind of that's in David's deck. Yes, Sundering Titan, which is a nod to the Primeval Titan decks, basically, at this point.
Yep. I like that card. I don't know if it's really as good as it looks, but it is definitely an interesting wish.
Yeah, so again, we've seen kind of how Karn, the great creator, has kind of warped these colorless decks into being, somewhere between 13, 11 and 13 cards are going to be wish package targets. The 4 cards above you saw for David are the ones that are, okay in this matchup. In that Relic of Progenitus, you want to shut down things like, Uro's a big one, obviously, and Emery Lurker the Lock.
Pretty good hand for Connor here. He's got the Astrolabe on 1. He's got a Spell Bomb, a Gal Blast to deal with anything like a TKS. And you can get that Spell Bomb down early and potentially bounce like a Chalice, for example, if you needed to.
Man, so like I just kind of thinking about this deck in general. Wow, he actually has Rebuke up this turn now too. I think about this deck in general, and I always think about Mox Opal and how good it would be. Could you imagine playing turn 2 Uros?
Oh yeah, yeah, and then just ramping into like a turn 3 Urza or something.
Yeah, almost every time, I'm sure. All right, so 2 different pieces of Tron for David Lamb again. He's going to go for Chalice on 1, and Connor's ready this time with a Metallic Rebuke.
Yep, and it's looking like he's going to be able to play this Uro and then have Cryptic Mana up the next turn.
Yeah, big fan. Great hand.
I won't have 3 islands, though, because of that Basic Forest. So that Basic Forest does have a cost.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll hit one. Oh, of course.
I was going to say, he needs to draw a land real bad off either this Uro or next turn.
Yeah. Yeah, Uro with fetch lands is good, man.
Yes.
All right, so David actually hits a repeat Tron piece. It looks like a second Urza's Tower and powerful 3/2 on turn 3 for David Lamb.
So I think David mulled to 6 from our little notes here.
Okay.
Not a strong keep based on the fact that he didn't have any fast mana this game, and his first play is that Matter Reshaper.
I mean, this hand is just this turn is just absolutely bonkers for Connor. He's able to put this Uro into play, and he's able to actually put Emery into play as well this turn. He'll be able to put a land, this Mystic Sanctuary, into play if he chooses.
I'm a little surprised with that. There was a line. Yeah, okay. No, that's fine. I guess that's fine.
Yeah, I'm a big fan
there
of
was
getting
a,
just
There
rolling.
was a line to Galv Blast and then also draw Galv Blast.
Yeah.
If you wanted to. But again, like flipping the Matter Reshaper into like a Tron piece would probably be worst case scenario.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah, so David has 5 cards here. Back to his turn. It's Matter Reshaper versus Emery Lurker the Lock and Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. Not my favorite.
What's crazy about Uro, in my opinion, is just how quickly this card ramps.
Yeah.
Like, he's got 6 mana in play already, and David just played his 4th land. He has more land than the Eldrazi player.
Yeah, it's very good. And I mean, it does kind of everything, right? It goes over the top of opponents because of the lands, like you mentioned, ramping. You can't get under it because it gains you 6 life almost every game. I mean, it's pretty busted, man.
So I think we'll see an Urza take here, would be my guess. Unless he has like something like a Dismember already in hand. Yeah. I don't think he'll take the Galvanic Blast. There's only 1 artifact in play currently. And then maybe he can fight through the Cryptic Sanctuary. I don't know. That's a tough call.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. So David actually comes to the conclusion he cannot beat the Cryptic Command plus Mystic Sanctuary lock. So going to go ahead and take that, leaving that Galvanic Blast and Urza. So, yeah, you mentioned that there's not enough artifacts, but Emery's going to help out with that.
Yep, and then the Urza comes down with the 3rd one, and then he'll be able to Gal Blast the Thought-Knot Seer, and then get in against this Matter Reshaper. Now, he could... I don't know how much this matters, but he could attack with Uro first, and then maybe he, like, double blocks. But he's probably going to block with the Matter Reshaper anyway.
Wow. You can play the Tireless Checker this turn, too.
Holy moly.
It's so good.
Astrolabe with Urza is just so... It's too good. This card should not be in Modern.
How cool is this? Uro plus Tireless Tracker together also. So if a land hits, does not hit, but man, that's good. Yeah, this deck is sweet.
Yeah, I like this deck a lot.
All right, Matter Reshaper gonna go underneath the Uro bus. Chalice of the Void, that's not exactly what you want when your opponent's board has 5 creatures in play.
Yeah, but you're not drawing it now.
Yeah.
Putting it into play seems fine. It shuts down the Emery, returning Bauble over and over again.
Sure.
Actually, it doesn't, right? Or no, you do cast it. Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
you cast it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like best case scenario for David here is he hits third Tron piece and has all his dust. That's
Right.
what he's looking for, but man, that looks so tough right now.
Well, even if he has all his dusts,
Yeah.
even if he has all his dust, he still gets the construct still in play.
Yes.
And he gets to cast
And
the
Earl
Uro
comes
again.
back. Yeah, it's not great. All right, well, that's a 0. That's not doing anything against Chalice Void. So Connor going to take the time to spin with Urza here, and Urza hits Dismember.
Oh, rough.
Hilarious.
Oh,
Okay. You know what? He can cast this Mishra's Bauble into the Chalice, and just. Oh no, he can't actually. I'm sorry. I was gonna say he could bring it back with Emery, but that doesn't make any sense.
yeah, no real reason to cast it unless this Uro were to die.
Blast
Blast
Zone
Zone's
up to
2.
Yeah,
That's not very good
That's
right
just
now.
not doing anything.
It is going to be good at 3, but
If
he
he
added
gets
2
there.
counters. It's at 3 now. It
Okay.
starts with 1. I always forget that.
All right.
So now do you play one of these Emerys just to like fuel the graveyard a little bit?
I don't think so. I think you just want to make him blow everything up. I mean, the construct's can almost kill him next turn.
The construct might kill him next turn.
Yeah, so he can pop. Even if David's on board here has, Blast Zone on 3, gets a kill. Uro, Emery, Tireless Tracker. He still takes at least 4 damage next turn.
Well, the Bauble will get countered by the Chalice.
Well, there's a construct, and there's the Astrolabe and Mishra's Bauble hanging out in place.
Right, but that's only 3 damage.
And then Urza is the 4th.
Oh, right, because it's a 4. Yeah.
For some reason, Urza attacks also, instead of just being an enchantment.
Right.
Alright, so David probably trying to figure out how it can possibly win here. Doesn't look great.
Not at all.
Alright.
He's going to need Blast Zone plus something.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not great. It would have been nice if he had Blast Zone plus like that Relic of Progenitus that he brought in. That's pretty good against, this Uro that's going to continue coming back, so. Alright, well, it blows it up in the upkeep.
It just draws like one of his better cards.
Yeah, that Tireless Tracker is really difficult to deal with.
So he can escape Uro, but he can't play Tracker 2. Again, just kind of being hosed on green. Wonder if he was supposed to get a breeding pool at some point.
Oh, don't worry. This is going to draw a fetch land. It's totally fine. Nope, Ceremonious Rejection. That's actually, one of the best cards he could possibly draw at this point.
Yeah.
Triple Astrolabe. Okay. All right, yeah. So with Ceremonious Rejection available, I don't think there's a way for David to get out of this one. We mentioned something like All Is Dust, and I mean, All Is Dust is bad now even against the construct, but with Ceremonious Rejection, it's completely off the table.
Yeah. Seems real rough here for David. This
All right.
Uro is just so much bigger.
Yeah,
Right.
Earl's been very, very good. So, again, we'll go back to the sideboards here. So, nothing really changed that much, honestly, for these guys. So, I think, actually, there is a small change here. So, Connor adds back a Galvblast and removes Engineer Explosives. That's what it looks like.
Yep, so being on the draw, he just wants more answers to Thought Not Seer. And then
Okay.
David's going to bring in an additional Relic, it looks like.
Relic.
And then take
Yeah,
out
except
one
a
of
chalice.
those chalices. Relic's one of those
Yeah, I see that.
cards you want
Go ahead.
early, which means like if he's Karning for it. Like typically if you play Karn and Wish, you want to go get Tormod's Crypt because that's something you can cast that turn unless you happen to have
Right.
6 mana or something.
Did you notice the irony on David Lamb's player profile slide there, by the
I
way?
did not.
His favorite card in the new set is Uro Titan, and he's just getting beaten down by it this match so far.
Dude, I hate Uro. I hate it. Like, it is a fantastic card, and I will cast that card for as long as it exists in every format because it's that good. but like stop printing everything on a single thing. Like I'm surprised this card doesn't have trample. I really am. But
well, like when everybody saw it, everyone's like, "Yeah, this card's busted." It was like pretty consensus. I mean, I didn't know if it would make it to. I don't know if I thought it would get to Modern. I didn't really put together like fetch lands in this like right away. I was like, "Man, this card's sweet for Standard."
Yeah, I mean, I thought the Red Black Titan would probably be the first one to make it, but this card just does everything you want it to do in the Urza matchup. And now we've got like Bant Snowblades playing it.
Yeah.
And the fact that it just escapes over and over and over again is what makes this card powerful. That's why it's so good. If it was just like really get it once, it dies, and then it's gone, you could probably beat this card no problem. But the fact that you play it early, you get an extra land, you start escaping it, it's the biggest thing on the board, you have to answer it, and then just later on you get value back with it. It's pretty insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it should have like some escape counter on it, and then when it dies, it's exiled or something because it just comes back. It doesn't even care.
Yeah, it's flashback, but like way better.
Yeah. All right, let's hop into game 3 here. See if David hates Uro. So, quick start here for David Lamb. Has Urza's Mine Expedition map, but Connor's hand's pretty good as well here.
Yeah, he's gonna need some more lands to get some value off this Mystic Sanctuary, but oof.
Yeah, that's rough. Astrolabe. He needed to find a land there. I mean, I think you keep this like almost 100% of the time. But David starts very good. He's got 2 Tron pieces and Expedition map. And Connor is in some serious trouble right now. If he gets Reality Smashed this turn, I
don't know how he wins from there.
That's tough. Yeah. Like, it's funny to say, but I mean, turn 3 Reality Smashers. Like, all right, well, how do I beat this?
Any big spell here from David, and if Connor misses a land, this is probably game over.
Yeah, he's toast. Yeah, he's toast. Or Reality Smash, or Matter
all right,
Shaper,
please
never mind.
follow it up with like a Thought Seer or something. Nope, just a super reactive hand. I would assume he's got some number of Dismember, potentially an All Is Dust. Something along those lines is how I would be reading David's hand right now. Ooh.
Has any card ever caught as much flack as Matter Reshaper?
Ooh,
I think it's got to be the highest.
Great question.
Got to be one of the
certainly
worst
in
cards.
like the last 6 months. I would 100% agree with you.
All right, another Astrolabe to pick up for Connor. So trying to fix those mana problems. He needs a green source like right now.
Draw land.
And
And
he finds another Galv Blast. I mean,
he can draw a card.
I mean, he can draw a card. Yeah,
Probably the right play.
Jeez.
Move to discard.
Right.
Discard an Uro. That's another great thing about this card.
Sure. Yeah, Connor needs a green source next turn, or even, the paltry Matter Reshaper might be able to get the job done.
Now, I don't expect Ulamog to be in David's deck at all.
No, I don't know. He drew Thought Knot Seer for the turn, it looks like. And this one, I mean, what do you take here, partner? You think you take, like, the Uro? Just try and cut him off lands?
That or the Archmage's Charm, because it draws him the most cards.
Yeah. That's fair.
To, like, find lands. Because if he just hits a land and you take the Uro, then he's probably just spending this turn charming.
That's fair. It's pretty tough.
I'm not taking Gal
David's
Blast
in a great shape.
for sure.
Yeah, the Gal Blast and the Urzas you could care less about. It's one of the 3 drops, and I don't think it's Tireless Tracker.
I also don't think it's Uro because 3 life's not really impacting the board, and it's only drawing 1 card. Okay, I'm completely wrong. Apparently, David disagrees with me.
Yeah, I think it's Uro. I'm mostly worried about him ramping into a 4th land and getting an Urza into play. And like he would have been able to like halfway accomplish that goal with this Polluted Delta here.
To me, it seems like it's that line you take. It's like, okay, I'm going to take this card and hope my opponent bricks. But now if Connor just goes land to land, like he's got much more powerful cards going on.
That's fair. I mean, if David has another play here, this Archmage's Charms almost certainly has to counter it. I don't know how you can't.
I would be surprised if he had a play, though. Unless he drew one.
Yeah.
Just the way
that's fair.
This game has been going. Oh, we're going to...
All right, well, Arkham's Astrolabe going to continue to be a pain.
Double Gal Blast the Thought Knot Seer. So it's not really a 2-for-1.
per
per
se.
se. Like, he already took a card, but you're getting a card back, and these Gal Blasts are, like, there to kill Thought-Knot Seers.
Yeah. Yeah, Connor needs this card to be a land here. It's a Cryptic Command. That is really bad at this point in the game.
He does get a draw to land, but he also needs a green source, so, like, I feel like he has to fetch him thin. It's a very fractional percentage if he is to fetch. There's a Tech Edge. That's...
Yeah, Tech Edge is not online yet.
And a Relic.
Relic's really good.
Well, just that Tech Edge says, you know, when you hit that fourth land, it's immediately gone.
Crunched. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I mean, David only has 2 cards left here. So if Connor's going to go for... Oh, he didn't go for the Archmage's Charm there.
Yeah, I think because he drew Cryptic, now he's in this, like, I'm just going to try to counter all of your things. But this Matter Shaper is a 5-turn clock, so at some point he's going to have to go shields down.
Yeah. So Connor going to go down to 11 here. 3 cards for David Lamb still. He's got Tron assembled. He's got a Ghost Quarter. He's got Tech Edge. And that Relic's working things down.
He's in pretty good shape if he can get an Urza in play, though, because the construct will be a 3/3.
Yeah, I mean...
Man,
if David doesn't have a follow-up, which it looks like he doesn't, Connor might be in... Okay, never mind. I might have spoke
big
too
walking
soon.
ballisting?
This is like a walking ballista? Yeah. Chalice for 3.
Whoa.
Boy, that's a pain.
Right.
Good read.
So do you counter it, or do you draw 2 cards?
I think I draw 2 cards here. Because, like, the Tireless Tracker matters, but it doesn't at this point. I'm assuming that, you know, David's card is, like, a Dismember or something like that.
They say Screw beats Flood, so he has a lot going on. Drawing 2 cards might help him find some lands, but it might not necessarily, you know...
Well, Gilded Goose is a nice one here. It's going to kind of brunt that Matter Shaper damage and also gets the 4th land, in quotes, into play here.
I mean, if David has a removal spell...
It's his last card,
does he even
though,
use it? I don't know.
I don't think so. And David still knows the Tireless Tracker and the Urzas in Connor's hand from an earlier Thought-Knot Seer.
Yep.
It's an interesting game so far. I mean...
4 mana.
Well, that's 4.
There's another.
It's another Thought-Knot Seer.
It's pretty good against that, though. It's got a lot of
like,
duplicates.
Now what? Yeah, now what do you take? The Tracker?
I think you take Urza.
Yeah. And well, it also kind of depends what's in David's hand. That card's got to be like Warping Whale or something like that.
I think it's either a Warping Whale or a Dismember.
Connor says 2 pair in the chat. Big fan of that.
Takes a Cryptic Command.
Takes one of the Cryptics. Okay.
Man. David is just... Alright, so we're going to go for a card draw here.
Oh boy. Is that a Smusher?
Do something. Yeah.
It's a Smusher. That's a pretty good one to draw into off the Relic there.
Yeah, I don't know how Connor can win from here. We got more things?
Follow-up Relic?
Dismember on...
It's Dismember. Wow. Okay.
So, excellent draw of Reality Smasher off that Relic.
Yeah.
And now he's at 2. He can fetch in, like, Cryptic.
Yeah. He's going to get Tech Edged this turn.
Yep.
This is tough.
Well, and the beauty is he can, like, Tech Edge before combat if he wants.
Yeah.
And then if he draws like another Reality Smasher or a Walking Ballista, that could be lethal.
Yeah. It's a good line here from Connor. So he still has mana available to crack the food due to Urza turning the Astrolabes into Mock Sapphires.
He also still has Cryptic mana if he wants it.
Yeah, he sure does.
So he can, like... If he wants to, he could block Matter Shaper with Urza, block Construct on Thought-Knot Seer, and then bounce Reality Smasher,
Yeah.
discarding probably either the other Urza or a Tireless Tracker.
Okay. Yeah, I don't hate that. Let's see. I think if he goes to bounce the Sanctuary, it's going to get Tech Edged, right?
Yeah.
Or Ghost Quartered, one of the two. I assume just... Well, it's going to be Tech Edge. Okay. So going to go for that. Bouncing
Doesn't
of the
this
Mystic
counter it?
Sanctuary here.
Or am I
We'll
crazy?
find out.
Because there's only one target?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So, yeah, so maybe a slight misstep again there by Connor. The Cryptic Command trying to bounce the land. It gets Tech Edged, blown up, and then it counters the second half of the Cryptic Command. So, David Lamb going to win his match here over Connor Mullaly. It's a good match, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I think David played it really well. Connor made a couple of mistakes there that cost him. The Uros never really got to go online in that last game because of that relic, and stumbled on mana a little bit.
Yeah, so you can take a peek at our bracket here on the left half again for the NRG Gaming Series MTGO Invitational. Again, we're playing for charity here. Connor Mullaly gets dispatched by David Lamb. David on Eldrazi Tron. Brad and I are going to wrap this one up, but later in the week you'll be able to see Blair Split versus Ben Miney, Jack Cummins versus John Whetstone, Justin Brickman versus Stanislav Golachuk, and I'm excited about this bracket, partner.
Yeah, this is a really sweet tournament. The players are playing for a charity. We are giving their choice of the charity that they pick to the winner, and I think it's $100. So, nothing crazy here, but we figured, hey, there's a big virus going on. Let's get some players involved in something that's for a good cause.
Yep.
So, pretty excited to be a part of it.
For sure. All right, we want to thank our awesome sponsor, KMC, again. Hypermat sleeves, all that kind of stuff. Hopefully, you'll be able to see us at a Nerd Rage tournament in the near future. We sell these at our booth again. KMC, you want to check them out on Facebook or Instagram. It's Facebook/KMC Sleeves. And then Instagram is at KMC_sleeves_USA. Some good products there. Also, some good stuff if you want some singles, anything like that. Check us out at nerdragegaming.com. Got tons of singles. Able to still send stuff out even during these times. So let us know, and we should be able to help you out.
Yeah, hopefully they have things in stock, because I just put in a gigantic order.
Brad's going stir crazy. He wants cards to own and sort.
I need to play some Modern. It looks it's such a fun format right now. So
very cool. All right, man. Well, you got anything you want to wrap up before we bounce out of here?
No, just want to thank everybody for watching, and tune in as we post these videos throughout the week.
Cool. All right, thanks everybody. Have a great one.